Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing today? That's fantastic. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Eric, Levine, Jose, Infinity, the Glad Hatter, David, all you guys. Good morning. You're bullish on Kern today. Okay. Top of the morning to you. Hello from Thailand. Always wanted to visit Thailand. Not never, but just haven't yet. Good morning, guys. All right, cool, good stuff. So, headline of the video, really two stocks I like, ROKU and Micron. BYND is more or less just to put out there because why not? It had a really big squeeze yesterday. I think we said that it would. I think we put it on the stream yesterday. Maybe we went over it and we're anticipating a squeeze. I myself didn't trade it, but it did have a beautiful looking squeeze to it. So kudos to that. All right, so let me get into one screen here. All right, guys, first stock that I'll be watching today, myself. Today there was really no penny stocks that really sparked my attention, so none of them are on the watch list. Again, only watch penny stocks when they're worthwhile to watch. If I don't think they're good, then they don't go on the watch list. Micron. So Micron is just the one stock that had earnings today. Not the one, but one stock earnings report today. Micron looks pretty decent. Whether it goes up or goes down, yeah, it's a different story. I always play it really by 1 minute candles. So depending on how it opens, how it flushes, how it holds, it's all going to be a determining factor of whether or not it's long or short. A lot of times when I see a bunch of analysts upgrading before earnings or downgrading before earnings, I usually play the opposite side. Usually works pretty well. So right now I got more of a bullish outlook on Micron. So really just going to watch at the open. We'll see what happens. I could give you the basic generic, hey, watch the pre-market high, watch the pre-market support, but it doesn't really matter because if I tell you to watch pre-market supports down here at 35, next thing you know, it comes crashing into 35, someone buys, and it keeps going down. So really, anytime you see resistance or support, it's either resistance or support or a breakdown or a breakout level. So that's always kind of like the catch-22 thing. People are like, oh, well, I saw support there, and then it crashed really hard. Well, that's also because wherever there's support, that also means there's panic selling that could take place. So it's like a catch-22. If you think you found support and then you buy there, and then it crashes really hard and you're scratching your head, it's because support is also a really big breakdown level. Right? If it breaks that level, everybody who bought at that level will panic and sell, causing a panic sell. Vice versa. If you think you're selling at resistance and then it breaks and starts flying, oh, I sold too early. Well, no, it just went over resistance. Anybody who was short the stock got squeezed, and anybody who's a breakout buyer over resistance started buying. So again, that's kind of how that whole scenario plays out. So yeah, keeping an eye on the pre-market support to see how it interacts, and keeping an eye at the pre-market high to see how it interacts. It's all about how price action is interacting at specific levels to determine how you should be trading. Okay, so MU, right? Earnings, big gap, attention is on the stock, right? The main thing about trading, right? Main thing about just trading in general, more so day trading, is you want to be on a stock that has the potential to move or potential to see volatility. We're not looking at a stock because we think it's just going to have some ginormous move to the upside today. No, we're looking at a stock because we know people are watching this and we know it can be volatile. So with it being volatile, that can create opportunity in which if we recognize the opportunity before it happens, we can get on that wave and probably make some money. That's the whole goal. So we don't want to be focusing our attention on something that doesn't really have any good chance for opportunity. So why would I be looking at MU over something like Netflix today? Well, because Netflix just is kind of like, I could still make money on this today, but if you look at Netflix, like for example, it's not at a significant low. It's no longer really at a significant high. So you're kind of right in the middle of a move. But if this was, like right here when it was up and then down, like that's a good time to watch it. It's right near a bounce level. Could very easily have a great bounce. And then look at that day. That day it opens up and goes from 341 up to 352. So it had like a 10-point move right in the beginning of the day. Okay, so again, it's all about recognizing where the volatility and the opportunity lies, and one of which today can be MU. Doesn't mean it will, but chance there. So watching MU. Hold on one second. Morning from South Africa. Good morning. Yeah, right. Netflix just rips. But I do think, just based on looking at Netflix with the way the market's moving, if the market tries to fill its gap to the downside today, I think Netflix could try and move lower, but I don't think it will. I think Netflix is just kind of have like a ho-hum up down kind of day. Either way, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm not going to be trading it, or if I do, who knows. So now let's go over and look at Roku. So Roku kind of continuing a little bit of a drop here pre-market. It's dropping a bit more than I thought it would. So I actually really want to be long on Roku. I know you guys are like, whoa, like why would you want to be? It looks terrible. How could someone want to be long on? Exactly, right? When everybody's thinking that you should be short, you probably should be long. That kind of scenario. So there's a couple ways I'm looking at this, and the side of my head, Roku has come down. It's filled its gap here. So it's like, well, we already kind of filled the gap. We got down to about $90. That is a support from this consolidation, these couple candles. So, it is relatively a decent support, we can call it, for a bounce. The only other thing, it's like, well, Roku has also went on some like crazy ginormous move. So who's to say that this doesn't want to fall down a little bit more, because this was such a ginormous move from 26 all the way to 108 over the course of, a couple months, more than a couple months, half a year probably. So it's like, well, it is a stock that was really overbought over the course of the last year. So maybe it wants a little bit more than its gap fill. But what's the likelihood that it just keeps crashing without some type of attempt at a dip buy today? So today I'm actually going to be watching it long bias. First, I'd watch it short, anticipating a little bit more selling to come in. But after that, I think I'd much rather be considering getting long, because we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 red days in a row. Are we aiming for 5? Possibly. I would be pretty surprised. So for me, I'm actually going to consider watching Roku long bias on the day. Discord alerts. WizardCon, the stream starts at the same time every day, right around 8:30, few minutes past. So just be around about 8:30. Do you have any preferred Delta long, as in Delta the airplane company? The actual Delta Airlines stock? Or are you talking about Delta in terms of like options and deltas in terms of trading? And then lastly, I'll touch on BYND real fast. So BYND had its squeeze. Today, it'll probably have a long play, then followed by a short play. So I think that there's going to be some hype into BYND after seeing the way it moved yesterday, after seeing how it moved towards the end of the day. Now that I look at that, that was probably a perfect fib bounce. Didn't recognize, I wasn't watching it, but this is most likely bounced off this. Is this a fib bounce? Let's see. Yep, bounced right up to 60. Yeah, makes sense. So if that's a perfect fib bounce, the question is, where are we tracing to? We're over that. Well, no, because we pop up. Never mind. But yeah, I think we'll still see a long play on BYND today. It wouldn't be very hard to see BYND up to at least this 162 area, maybe a little bit higher, but there's probably going to be a long push, and I think we'll probably see a lot of selling pressure come in on and try and hammer it back down. So I feel like it's going to go long, quick, and then down quick. Honestly, going to be like a long, short kind of situation. Thoughts on AMD move? AMD is gapping up today because the market gapped up and because MU had good earnings, since MU is a chip provider, graphics card, same kind of business model and same business field as AMD. You're seeing NVIDIA and AMD have sympathy plays to MU, and then when you mix in the market gapping up today, it makes sense. So yeah, AMD's kind of bouncing. We even said the other day, we're like, hey, kind of keep an eye on it because it was starting to get bought up below 29, hitting stop losses, starting to get bought up. Could have anticipated a little bit of a bounce. So today I would say with the market gap up, well, market's actually trying to close its gap today. That's not I mean, it is what it is, but I would probably generally want to be more long bias on the stock today than short bias, but I mean, it kind of already did a long move pre-market. So, yeah, I mean, I think for me, I wouldn't trade it, right? To me, it's more of a neutral, right? I don't really want to trade AMD. I wouldn't involve myself with that stock. If I did, it'd be on my watch list today, right? It'd be something I'd be trading. But it's just not something I personally like, right? And why don't I personally like it? Because there's no money to be made on this right now. And how do I know so? Because it's not in a situation where it should have a really good move. It's in a situation where it should be ho-hum, boring, lame, no fun, right? Because we came from the 34 high right down into support. We bounced really strong. Then we came back down and we're sort of bouncing. But this move, right, this move should not bounce all the way back up to this previous high in a swift move. It just doesn't make sense. So this bounce will not come all the way up to, I got to change that to, is this? Yeah, this bounce is not going to come all the way up to this level. It's not going to happen, right? If anything, this bounce will come up about halfway of this move, which is, right where it is, right there. Right, if you and I can measure it. I can measure it and guarantee that let's see this move. So okay, well if I had to go from all the way to this high and then all the way to this low, yeah, I mean look at that, 50% right there, boom. Right, so like I just said, this move was going to bounce about 50% of this down leg, right? So if you look, if I went from the absolute high right here to the absolute low of this wick, you will see that this move has come all the way back up about 50% of this move. So that's basically the move that would have, it's already happened, right? It has already happened. So now what you're waiting on for AMD is now it's going to go into like some type of consolidation, right? It's like now that it bounced, well, it's going to maybe pull back and then it's going to do this and it's going to come down again. And next thing you know, and then all of a sudden it creates like a small channel here where then it might break up here, and then we go to this high, and then once we're there, we kind of do this, and then we do that, and then we come back down, and then we test that support, and then that holds, and then we're up here, and we pull back again, and then next we're right here. And then what do? And then we break out from here, and then this is where there's open running room, right? This is where you could be like, hey, let's target that high up there, and now once there's not a lot of like consolidation bullshit, now we can run up to that leg. And if it hits that, then we could see an attempt at highs here. Then once it gets up to the previous high, you're going to go, well, it's not going to break on that. Well, actually, no, because 34 already tested once way back when. So, yeah, but that's a big. So then again, it would probably hold at 34, pull back to like here, and then do something like this. And then we get our breakout, and then that would push us into, you get it. You get the point. So that's the way stocks move. So AMD, I would want to be more long bias on it, but it's not in a situation where I'd really want to trade it today. Not a significant low, not a significant high. Basically, it's basic, right? It's basic. Very basic. Uh-huh. JNUG sold off hard. Yes, JNUG sold off hard because gold is also took a little bit of a sell off. So there might be some more selling pressure into JNUG considering gold sold off. Gold, it's hard to judge what exactly it wants to do because it's on such a strong push. But it all makes sense. It all makes sense. Gold went through a really strong push. It's starting to sell off a little bit. It makes sense. The dollar started to bounce a little bit, so it all makes sense. So for me, for JNUG, I wouldn't be buying it at this level, right? Well, let me rephrase that, right? Because I always say, like, I wouldn't buy it. It's like, but I kind of would buy JNUG if it's the right time. And the right time for me would be after it pulls back. It's starting to, right? But it'd be after it pulls back. So just be patient and see if this pullback wants to continue down or if it's going to start consolidating, right? And that's kind of my outlook, right? Because I've been long gold for like 2 years now. I've already been long gold. I've been long silver. So this whole move that's been going on I've gotten every single piece of it. I've already been long, right? So every single up move that gold has made in the last couple weeks, I've gotten every single piece of it. So for me, I'm just holding, right? Because I've been holding, right? So I'm not afraid to hold. So I'm anticipating gold to be on a bull run within the near future. So I'm holding gold personally. But it's like, would I start buying more into my gold position where we're currently at? No, I wouldn't because I'm fine. I already have some, so I wouldn't really want to buy at this high level knowing that we're probably going to see a pullback. If I wanted to add, I might as well just wait for the pullback rather than buying at highs. Chalkin, no, I do not. Do not use that indicator. Lost one. When to use join ask or join bid? When would you want to try to join the ask or join the bid rather than doing a market order? In which situation would it be better? Honestly, it's always better to get out on the ask, and it's always better to get in on the bid. Always. There is no when would it. It's always better to sell at the ask and buy at the bid, because you're getting the best price possible, right? So if I go to buy a car off a guy on Craigslist, it's always best to give him an offer and have him take it, right? And when I'm selling my car, it's always best for me to say, no, screw you, I want $100 million and no penny less, and they pay it. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That's not the way life works, unfortunately. You usually don't always get what you want, and you just don't always get what you want. So you usually don't always get out on the ask, and you usually don't always get in on the bid. So you can try and play that game, but that shit just ain't going to fly all the time, right? So you can try and sell your car for $100 million, and every once in a while you'll get a buyer, but more often than not, the buyer will say, hey, no, I'm going to take a little bit less. I want it for this. And then you'll go, okay, you come here, and then I'll meet you there. Right? So now instead of you buying, on the bid, you're buying a little bit above the bid. So you're basically in the same position, right? You're buying a little bit of the bid, or you're buying closer to the ask, but you're almost in the same position of just doing a market order, right? So I could go on for days about this because I do lots of market orders, and I watch how market makers play their game all day long. I watch the ladder. I watch level 2. I know how they play their game, so I know exactly what's going on when you put in an order. Most people don't even understand what's going on, and that's okay. It'll take time to learn, but if you want to put in a limit order, or if you want to join the bid, that's fine, but the market maker will more oftentimes than not, he's going to jump your order because he has to be first in line on the bid and the ask. So if he's first in line, you're not getting filled unless your order goes above his. Well, if your order goes above his, guess what? He'll jump you again, and then you're going to have to jump him, and then you're going to have to jump him. And then as you keep jumping, what happens? You're starting to pay higher and higher and higher to the point where you're almost buying at what? Oh, the ask. You're almost buying at the ask. So what's the point of doing that when you could just put in a market order? So again, depends on how you do it, depends on how you trade and how you understand it. So when the stock movement looks like a UPC code, what does it mean? It means nobody's trading it and you should stay away from it, most likely. Okay, that's a lie. Not necessarily. But if it's trading like a barcode, that means there's really no volume and it's not the best to day trade because there's no money to be made. Doesn't mean it won't be a great stock or a great company. It just means that there's nobody actually participating within that company at that given time. Ticker Hive. I looked at Hive this morning. Hive is getting bought out by another company. That's why you're seeing that really big gap up. There won't be much movement on that stock today. You probably want to stay away from trading it. How do you get the confirmation candle? I don't really know what you mean. It's possible that you're referring to a custom coded candle script. Because there is no such thing as a confirmation candle, like in terms of like legitimate name, but you can argue that people call candles a confirmation candle. So yeah, I would say I have no idea, honestly. Technical analysis on MU, there is really, sure, I could run you through technical analysis really fast. Like, what do you want to? We can. So, like, again, right? Like, I guess I could just walk you through like a whole game plan. Ready? So, if you go to, we could do a 1 year day chart. So we could go 1 year day. You have the 52-week high. You have the 52-week low. You have this high here. Then you have this bottom base that started right there. And then we go into the day, 4-hour chart. It's got a little bit of resistance right here. We already got the support knocked out. So we're going to argue that over this line, we're going to have breakout buyers. Before this line, we're going to have short sellers. You go into the intraday chart. You would go, okay, this is your pre-market high. This is going to be your pre-market support. So if we break down below that level, we could see a panic sell. If we break up above 36, we could see a big push to the upside from short sellers getting squeezed out and breakout buyers coming in. But before we determine a buy, we'd like to see how the candles react to the support level, if they even touch the support level, or how the candles are reacting at the breakout level. If they get to the breakout level, is there going to be a little mini inverse head and shoulders pattern that occurs? There's multiple things, but just mark out your pre-market high, mark out your pre-market support, and understand the psychology behind what goes on at those levels. Nope, I really don't invest in IPOs at all. I just don't. Nope. ABBV. Yeah, I liked ABBV yesterday until it started breaking down a significant zone, but that's okay. Actually, I'm really glad you said that because I wanted to watch this and I totally forgot about it after yesterday. Keep ABBV on watch for a long bias trade today, everybody. Okay, cool. It is 8:58. Got to get back to our private group. I really appreciate you guys tuning in and hanging out with me for, about 25, 30 minutes each day. It is a blast. Have a good time. How do you tell if a breakout goes fake out? If the setup is just right for the breakout but ends up failing, when do you know when you need to get out? When the breakout fails, right? If it's going to break out, it's going to break out. If it's not, it's not, right? Just like that. So it's kind of like imagine, right? Like imagine you had a bunch of people banging on your front door to get in your house, and when you open it up, it's only one person. That's when the breakout fails. Kind of like you expected a bunch of people to show up to party at your party, and then you open the front door and there's only like one person with a bottle of Faygo. It's like, well, not really a party. Kind of like a breakout. When you buy in for a breakout, it goes over the breakout level and then nothing really happens right away. Probably not going to work out. Kind of like dipping your toe in the water at the pool and you go, holy shit, that's freezing, and you kind of step right back out. That's how you know the breakout fails. So generally speaking, if it's going to break out, it's going to break out instantly. So if it doesn't, it's really struggling, then just take it off, right? It's better just to get out rather than lose more money. Okay. So anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys again for tuning in as always. Yeah, that's about it. See you guys tomorrow morning. Take care. Stay green. Don't lose a mortgage on your house. Don't get divorced if you lose too much money today. Other than that, have a good day.